I think it's sometimes hard for people who define themselves as feminists to know what they can actually do with their feminism. That's definitely something. I knew I was a feminist for a long time before I actually started acting on that and kind of figuring out that I could do things. What do you think is something that someone could do in their everyday life to like express their feminism?
I mean, I think something that you can do that really doesn't take an awful lot out of you is just like really support the other girls around you. And that includes boys as well. It's really important to do that. And as I said, one of the things that I think really helped me when I was younger was sport. Even if you're not good at it, but doing something like that and being on a team with boys and girls and really having to like help the girls around you, that can have a massive impact, I think, on just how you cooperate with one another and how you work together. Another thing I would say, I'm not on Facebook anymore, but people can get a little mean on social media, and remember that, like, I'm sure none of you in here would do that, but you do see sort of horrible things sometimes, and
Totally.
it's a really awful thing to think that could be done to you. And I just think it's really easy to sort of like pass judgment on people when, you know, you're sitting on your phone or whatever, and it's important to sort of remember that, like, everyone's sort of gone through their own stuff, you know.
Yeah, I think we have social media's really interesting things. I think we have very different views of it. Saoirse isn't on it at all, and I kind of love it. And when I was out of school, it really helped me like find people. But something I say, because I feel like it's a very stressful time, especially to be a girl on social media. And something I always try and say is like, you can choose what you see on social media and what you consume, and it might feel like you're being forced to follow these people or, you know, post these things, but actually it is all a choice. In social media, I've done most of my feminist activism via Instagram. You know, via online. I organised a like 4,000 person protest via Instagram, and people actually showed up, and I think that's something that I'd really encourage anyone that is interested in this. Maybe if you feel like you can't talk about it at home, do start exploring that on social media and kind of seeing if you can make your social media a very positive feminist place, because it really can go either way. It can be like the worst. I have friends that only follow like bikini models and just sit there scrolling all day, like feeling awful about themselves. And I only follow mad feminist illustrators who post like pictures of vaginas, and it's great. Illustrated vaginas, not actual vaginas.
Not
Wouldn't recommend that, guys. That's porn.
Yeah.
My name is Anna Nolan. This question is kind of for both of you. You mentioned, or you kind of talked about how we can, what you can do with your feminism, or how you can kind of act on it. You also mentioned that obviously in Western society we're in a more safe place than, say, people in more like underdeveloped countries. How do you think we in like rich countries can kind of bring our feminism and help other people in less safe situations?
It's a really good question. It's really, really good. Don't worry. Ooh, just move the chair.
You're so strong.
I'm so strong. Something I think about a lot. I think something that's really interesting and has been a big part of my life for the last few years is actually realizing like the issues in my own community and own country that needed to be worked on. You know, when we were doing the campaign about periods, it started because this charity was raising money to send tampons and pads to Kenya for this village that didn't have any, and then all these girls from Leeds in the UK started getting in touch with them and being like, we can't afford them either, like, can you send them to us too as well? And then it was the first time they did research on it, and they found out 1 in 4 girls in the UK can't afford menstrual products. So that was something where it's like, I would never have thought that happened in the country I lived in, and it was a huge issue. And so I think sometimes looking into the things that are going on in your own area can be good, but also like it can sometimes feel really overwhelming, and like you have to start your own thing or do all this research, but actually there are so many incredible charities and activists that are already out there. And if you find an issue that you care about, do a bit of Googling online, you'll find a charity or an organization that is doing that work wherever you care about, you know, whether it's in India or a country in Africa or anywhere in the world. There will be, like, I can almost guarantee there'll be someone that's dedicated their lives to helping that, and they always need help and they always need support. So sometimes it's just about, I think a really good way to begin your feminist journey is to just find an organization you care about and support that. And that can just be something you do as like a hobby almost. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Good.